Good morning, everybody. How are you? I'm setting up here. We live? Goodness. Good morning, everybody. I'm Meredith Herrenbrook with Living Your Awesome. I hope you had a wonderful Memorial weekend. The weather up here has been strongly hot, and we've been in the pool, enjoying ourselves, going out on the water, practicing safe distancing, etc. Today, I really wanted to get into this stop resisting and start living your life. You know, I've talked to a few people recently, and people are so stuck with their lives and they're not knowing where to go and what to do. And I noticed that a lot of the times it's because we are resisting all these things that we don't know that we're resisting. And so we get in this circular pattern of, I want to do this, but then I can't. I want to do this, but, and then there's this ennui, there's this boredom that happens where you can't get out of it. And so I want to get into, well, let's stop resisting where you are. Let's stop resisting what's in your head. Let's stop resisting what you're hearing, all those old patterns and those old thoughts and behaviors. If you keep resisting everything that's around you, you're going to be exhausted, for one, because you're spending so much time holding on to all these things and resisting and pushing back and going, I don't like my life. I don't like my work. I don't like this person, and there's no movement. And part of, I think, what happens is there's what's called kind of towards behavior and away behavior. Now, if you imagine listening to music, there's a lot of music out there where you go, I don't know, I'm leaving this, I'm going away from here. It's like all those sad relationship songs, right? And if you start to listen to music, try and listen to the language that they're using. And so a lot of people are trying to leave where they are coming from. They're trying to leave their existing condition. But what happens is, what are you going towards? And so there's a balance of kind of this checks and balances that I do with myself. Is, what am I not wanting in my life? What do I not like? Write that list. And what do I want? And a lot of times, or 99% of the time, why we're not getting what we want is because we don't know what we want. We don't know how to go for it. We don't know exactly what it is. We're not being specific enough. So you have to look into, what are you going away from, and work all those details out. For example, if you've had trauma, and I'm not saying this is an overnight process at all, but it will get you started into, what are you trying to not have in your life anymore? What are the things you absolutely hate and do not want? And what you might find too is that what you're trying to not have in your life, you pervasively have. Now, why is that? Well, because that which you resist persists. Carl Jung said that many years ago, and it is really true, because what you're doing is, what is in your awareness constantly, what you're trying to not have is what you are always creating for yourself, because it's in your awareness and you have not kind of made your peace with what that is. So if you have maybe grown up with a trauma or a personality in your family from your caregivers that was just really difficult, maybe there was an alcoholic parent, there was physical abuse, emotional abuse, what happens is, well, when your brain survives it and you've survived and go you, and I don't mean this lightly in any way, I'm trying to just kind of keep it light and not get us into the real depths of despair of what that is, and those past experiences, because they can be very painful when we think on it. Sorry, my Hope you're not listening to all these dings on my computer here. But when you are trying to survive the past and you haven't really cleared it from your awareness, you're going to keep that around you at all times until you can somehow let it go and move through it. Forgive it, perhaps. Do your work with a therapist or me through the various necessary elements that work for you to be able to move through it and go into now what you are wanting. Life is actually, at the very base of it, very simple. It's what do you not want to have in your life and what do you want to have in your life? And if you are in a place of boredom, and I know someone who very close to me, he is in this state of absolute boredom, and he reads and he's on the computer and he does all these things, but he's kind of like circling and circling and circling and circling and circling. And I have clients recently, a specific client who's also, he goes, I talk to my parents all the time, but I grew up in an abusive relationship and they're always disappointed with what I'm doing. They're always judging and they're always wanting me to do certain things that I don't really want to do. And I said, well, what do you want to do? And it takes him a long time to even think about what he wants. And I think so much of us don't know what we want. And so long ago, when I was going through my process, I had trauma growing up. If you haven't read my book, Becoming Ridiculously Awesome, I touch on that a little bit. And my brain was spinning. I was circling and circling and circling, and I just go, where am I going? And what am I doing? And I would kind of reach out and touch things and go, that's not it, that's not it, that's not it. And it's easy for us to kind of do that away from mentality, that behavior of what do I not want? And that's easier to figure out than what we do want. But what is helpful for when we get into that, I know I don't want that, flip it on its head and go, well, what did I grow up with? What did I survive? What is in my awareness that I haven't really worked out yet? How have I not made my peace with that yet? And when you start to make peace with it and move through what you're still stuck with, what have I not forgiven? Then you can let go of that resisting mentality and start to bring in maybe those questions of what do I want? Can I have it? Can I, do I feel I deserve that? Do I feel that I, these are all ego questions, and I think we just get stuck so much in this, I know I don't want this, but yet I keep having these sorts of relationships. I keep having these friends. I keep having this same sort of job. I keep having these things that just, I am not happy, right? And I know that feeling from the depths of my soul. For years, I was depressed. I had such a hard time. But I started to finally realize that when I was finally becoming specific enough of what I do want, I said, well, I don't want to feel unhappy. Okay, great. Well, what makes me unhappy? Well, I don't like being around people with this sort of behavior who make me feel small and insignificant. Okay, so then you start to ask yourself, well, why am I allowing those sorts of behaviors from people? Why do these sorts of people keep coming into my life? It's not happenstance, people. It's not at all. It's because when you have a certain belief system, or series of belief systems and experience, it's a learned behavior of surviving that, well, then you're going to be able to keep bringing that in. And then when you start to go, oh, it's me who's really bringing this into my life. And the thing is, people will always come through your doors, which is you know, they will keep coming in through your doors, but they can pass through the other way. But what keeps them here, right? And it's because there's a part of you that is not healed and said, hey, I want to, I don't really like that sort of behavior. I don't really, that sort of personality doesn't work. And as far as if your job, thank you, Melissa, if you go, well, my job sucks, why do I keep having a job that has this? Or what are my emotions? What am I bringing to the table such that I have to resist this job? And I don't know what your job is at all. But I'll give you an example of, I had a job years ago at an architectural firm, and I kept having this sort of personality in my managers and the boss where I would do all this work and then they would go, nope, nope, don't really like it, and so forth and so on. And I go, well, why are they not giving me direction? Why, and they just kind of throw you out and then you do it. And I go, that's a waste of the client's money. It's a waste of this and waste of that. And so through NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, if you've not heard of that, that's what I'm trained in, is neuro-linguistic programming. And it asks very specific questions into, what would you like? What would having that do for you? Why can't you have it? What stops you from having it? And it drills down to, what are you doing? What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about your world? And how are you creating it for yourself? What is still in your awareness that you have not healed, such that if you really want to have this job over here, and maybe it's not necessarily the title, or maybe it's just the money. I personally believe, as a side note, that all your work should be something that you're passionate about, whether it's working with people or helping them in a specific way, or really technical stuff. You want to be on the computer and you love figuring out problems, or you love creating video games. Whatever it is, number one, it should not be ego driven of, it's just to support my family, at least in the long term, right? I'm talking about, like, if you had your druthers and could wave your magic wand, what do you want? And I'm talking very serious, very specific. What gets you up in the morning? I want to work with dogs. I want to train dogs, or I want to go hiking, or I want to run a national park. Whatever it is, dream with me for a moment. Dream with me on what you want. No one will ever know here, okay? And I think we're really scared to even just write it down or look at it. But if you could have your secret passion, what is it? However silly or insane or crazy it is. Maybe you want to climb Machu Picchu. Maybe you want to go deep diving into 5,000 meters in the ocean and breathe, and hold your breath for 20 minutes. I don't care what it is. But the point is, when you have a passion, and remember maybe a point in your life where you had a crazy passion, where maybe it was a film that you watched where your whole body was just alive and you go, oh my God, this is amazing. Or you've been on a vacation, or you've seen something online where you go, all your body just vibrates and it just sings. And you feel this vibration of happiness. No resistance, no frustration or ennui or dragging. You know that dragging feeling, I'm sure you do, of just, maybe in the last month, there are times where I was seriously dragging and just going, oh my God, I'm with my kids all day. There are all these new rules. There's this, there was a lot of unrest. There still is a lot of unrest. But when do you sing? When does your body just wake up and just feel amazing? And I'm going to say this, do more of that. And now there might be people who say, you're crazy, or I don't like that you do that. And I'm saying, do these passions that don't harm other people, of course, okay? I'm kind of giving these little caveats because I want to be very specific. The universe responds to you when you are very specific, and when you are going, I want to do that. And don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. I've been very distracted recently, and I've been doing puzzles, and I've been writing some blogs, though, which is good. But, and I'm just, kind of wasting time. I'm spending time trying to turn the brain off. But sometimes in that distraction, if you allow it, it's kind of like a meditation of turn off all that stuff that you're resisting. Turn off all those voices from long ago and far away. Let go of all the outside stuff that you feel should be telling you what to do. Who is telling you what to do? Who is telling you in your head what you shouldn't be doing? Because if you did, something bad would happen. And this is kind of how society works in general, in certain religious circumstances and it's a survival, it's a community survival rule, if you will, a goal. But in many ways, it is so helpful to have these society rules and pressures, if you will. But I think we are at a point in the world that there's so much variety of how to survive that if you believe enough in yourself and what you want to do and that you're passionate about, after a time, people will go, I never thought of it that way. I never thought that could be possible. Now what's happening is because all those other people couldn't believe in that new paradigm. They couldn't believe that that was available or possible and that the sky wasn't going to fall. They were working out of their own fears to keep themselves safe. And so all these judgments that may be stopping you and that you're stopping yourself from because you're listening to them because you want to have connection with these people and love and support. We all want to be safe and loved, and this is why we stay in these existing paradigms. We stay in existing paradigms and don't shift out of our quote unhappiness or place because we don't want to disrupt our connection and love from other people. We want to keep our jobs because we want to, of course, earn money. We want to have that adoration from our family and that support and love. Hey, I got this money and I'm keeping us safe and happy. And, you can have clothes tomorrow and you can have food this evening. And, those are very important, very heartfelt, amazing needs. But as you are dreaming and going, I really want this, then go for it and challenge what the other paradigms that you're running into. And when you do that and you trust in that, then the resistance will stop coming to you because there is so much within yourself that you are feeding and that you are growing. I just got a picture in my head of this really beautiful book. It's a children's book and it goes, what do you do with a chance? And there's this chance, and it's kind of this ball of yellow, and it kind of swims by this little boy, and kind of tickles on the side and says, "Hey, I'm here. I'm here. What do you want to do with me?" And he swatted it away for a while. No, I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't want it. People would laugh at me, and so forth and so on. Other paradigms that we're allowing into our world. And when we allow those paradigms, right, then we stop ourselves from living and believing in what our true nature is. When we stop listening and we swat it away and we keep ourselves down for other people to the extent that we are killing ourselves, I want to tear up, when we are dampening ourselves so much, and we do this all the time, that when you stop yourself from living your passion and trusting that your body and your soul already knows what to do, that you are actually harming humanity. And why do I say that? Because when you are not living your life and creating greatness, you're not offering your best to the world. So I'm going to get back to this book. So when you have this chance come by and you're not swatting it away anymore, then you can care for it and grow it. And then you get to dance with it and it gets to grow. And then you grow and you ooze this light and you ooze this happiness. Who doesn't want to be near someone happy, who is joyful? And they don't need happiness or judgment or conditions from other people. They go, I'm doing my stuff and I'm happy. If you want to join me, wonderful. Great. Fantastic. Let's grow and let's be happy and do our passions together. And when that happens more often in the world and we are not resisting anymore, or less, I should say, we're always kind of resisting and we're always going to grow, and new things, new awarenesses will come up, right? We're not going to learn everything by the age of 20 and go, okay, great, we're awesome. I've got all my shit together. We're amazing, right? Over time, we're going to, new opportunities for growth come. We're going to be doing this forever. But when you live your passion and can trust and not be bombarded and swayed by other people's judgments of and paradigms of safety and security, then when you live in your passion and can grow and become this bold, amazing person, then people will start to believe it. They'll go, well, this person just seems happy. Someone told me recently, they go, you're always happy. You always seem busy. You always can kind of just roll with it. And it didn't happen by accident. And it didn't happen just by falling off a log. I worked at it. And how did I work at it? I challenged myself through old paradigms and old systems. And I go, I'm unhappy. And I was so unhappy, guys. I was so unhappy. I was thinking the worst. Okay. And I did not want to be here in this world. Didn't. And when you can go, well, everyone else seems to be fine. What am I doing? What am I thinking? What am I believing about myself and the world? Excuse me. That other people don't seem to have those problems. So what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I doing? So this is the paradigm. These are the presuppositions of NLP is what you survive, you recreate. What you resist persists. And when you start to let go of what you're resisting and you really challenge yourself on what these old paradigms are, and you start to be able to trust that your soul knows exactly who you are. Your soul knows exactly what you want to do. Your soul knows exactly what you need to do. But it's up to us, the other parts of us, our thinking mind, the monkey mind, the distracted mind. It's up to us to follow that. And the more we trust in those little movements, and they'll start with little movements, right? And then as you trust in it, the universe will start to offer you a little bit more and little bigger steps because you go, it's already working. Wow, and I feel better. I kind of want to wake up in the morning. I want to get out of bed and I want to do that next step. I want to create that plan. And create the plan that isn't overwhelming. You'll have your long-term goals, and then you'll have your day goals, and you'll have your hour goals. But you are on that path such that you are happy for yourself. And when you're happy for yourself, and you're going to make your soul happy, then you will naturally offer it to the world. And I say that how important it is to do so now. We have been given this opportunity from this virus. Bear with me on this because there is a lot of horrible things that are happening. However, and there's a lot of frustration that I have with government and certain rules and certain things, but it is an opportunity to take space and time to go, is what we were doing working? Sorry, my husband's calling. Sorry. Is it working what we were doing? Was that really making me happy? And if not, maybe I can simplify my life such that I can slowly make a transition into what does make me happy. Because when we're happy, we work harder. When we're happy, our immune systems are better. When we're happy, we bring more people close to us. We feel we can open those walls up a little bit more and bring people in. When we are happier, we are stronger. When we are happier, we can hug a little bit longer and share with other people. And I'm sad because there is so much pain out there. And I go, I just rack my brain. And I go, open your hearts, open yourself to shift your own paradigms and slough off what no longer works for you. Take that leap and challenge those things, because they're all in your own head. They're all in your own paradigm. No one else necessarily has that. You are stopping yourself from getting what you want. And only you can open that. You're the only person who can open that door and challenge just a little bit to then move to your greater self. And when you do that, you're not holding on so tight to that old. You are not resisting. Resisting is exhausting. I'll tell you, it's so exhausting. And when you can start to let those things go and know that you'll still be okay, that maybe you can have the same relationship with people that's maybe better, because then they respect that you are doing what works for you. And they might not like it. They might not understand it. And if they give you a lot of judgment, well, then do you really want them in your world anyway? Honestly. You know, if someone's going to put you down and make you feel bad for your choices that you're trying to figure out for yourself that are growing for you, if you want to be an artist and do a specific crazy new thing that no one's ever done and everyone says, that's just crazy, that's silly, that's stupid. Who are they talking about? They're talking about their own paradigms. They're talking about their own stuff, their own fears, and let them do it. And that's okay. But when you get out of circling your own mountains, label what that mountain is. I'm addressing Susie here if you're still on and watching. Address what they are and go, well, does it have to be like that? Are there other ways of being? And that's okay. Shift. So if you have any questions for me, I would love to open this up. I really appreciate what you guys are bringing into me of job sucks, circling the mountains. I've been there before so often, circling, and not knowing where to go. And this is what the main thing is: stop resisting. And know that there is maybe right now, just maybe, an opportunity that will present itself, and say, universe, I want an opportunity. Show it to me. And just listen and look and open your heart and your eyes and go, something small, something that I can grab onto, that still I can feel safe, but that slowly helps me bridge to where I really want to go and how I want to feel about myself, how I want to behave, how do I want to be this way in a month. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What am I doing? And this is a great exercise. If you're having a hard time with knowing what your mountain is, knowing what you're resisting, go, okay, what's my current experience? And if I could not have something, if I could, what do I not want in this world? What do I not want to have? What do I not want to experience? Write it down, write a page. I don't want to have sucky relationships. I don't want to hate waking up in the morning. I don't want, blah, 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 right? Write it all down and then go, okay, what do I want? I want to feel this. I want to be doing this. My head will be higher. My shoulders will be back. I will be smiling, etc., etc. What will I be doing in the near future? If I could have anything, what would I be doing? Well, I'd be having coffee with friends. I'd be, connecting more with people with greater ease, right? Start writing specifically and then go, great, how could I have that? And then just dream. Take this opportunity of this shelter in place, maybe going to bed earlier, daydreaming in work, if you have a moment or two. If I could have it, what would I be doing? And so what we're doing is we're going, what sucks over here? And then if I could have it, what would be over here? Our brains, our neurology loves to solve problems. And so we've been trying to just get out of the rat race, but we're not giving it new information on what we want. We have to present new opportunities and go, well, what about this? No, I don't like it for these reasons. Okay, well, what about this? And we have to it's like swinging on monkey bars, going, well, I'm on this monkey bar right here, but I want to grab out. But what am I grabbing to? Is it another monkey bar? Is it a mountain? Is it a stepping stool? What does the stepping stool look like? What does it feel like? What am I doing? So when you create specifics, then your brain and body can then start to shift and shift your radio beacon, if you will. We're always sending out signals of what we want to bring in, right? And when we are on the existing monkey bar, we're circling around the same mountain, we're looking only at where we are. We can't move to somewhere else. We need our map, right? We need our map to go tell our brain and body to scan for the next thing. To scan for the next thing, we have to be specific. We're on a trail, and I'm giving lots of analogies and so forth, and I hope you're following me. I really appreciate it, but I'm doing all these different examples so I can give you lots of examples and what might work for you, because everyone's map, everyone's brain and neurology is a little different. Some people like the brain analogy or the mountain analogy. Some people like the monkey bar analogy. That's a little bit more kinesthetic. Maybe you're listening to radio, right? This is auditory. What signals do you want to send out there that you want the world to give back to you? If you are tired of having the same sorts of relationships or the same job, we go, well, what's my current job here? What's my current experience? What am I not getting? And then where do I want to go? So getting back to the beginning of the conversation here, we are kind of towards and away from people. It's basically two things. We want to move away from things, and a lot of our conversations, our dialogues are, well, I don't like that. If we're shopping for, say, an outfit, oh, this one's too yellow, this one's too long, I don't like the material, I don't know, or food, right? I don't like the look of that, I don't like the smell of that, oh, I don't like the chicken, I want the pork, right? I don't want. We're really good at saying what we don't want. But we have to create a picture, a feeling, an experience, so then we can shift our little radio signals to go, what do I want? And dream, focus. We don't have to live for anybody but ourselves. Would you rather live according to someone else's rules and be completely unhappy? Or would you rather be happy and fulfilled and expanded and sleep well and love where you are? And maybe those people will respect you more and go, wow, I never thought that person could do it or would do it. And it's not according to them. You shouldn't be living for anybody but yourself, in my not so humble opinion, but it's just from my experience, I have found that doesn't work. It did not make me happy. And I would be surprised if it made you happy as well. So would you rather live according to someone else's rules and you are absolutely miserable? Or would you rather go, wow, I don't know exactly where I'm going, but I know somewhere, somehow I want to kind of be in that general direction. I want to travel the world. I want to work with dogs every single day of my life. I don't care what it is. You know what it is for yourself. You know. And if you don't know, then maybe start letting go of all those judgments from other people so that maybe you can start listening to that something inside of you that goes, what if? What if I could have what I wanted? Would I be okay? You know, I remember many years ago when I was starting NLP training, and one of the main questions in NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, is what would you like? And it was the most foreign question to me. I mean, I was sitting there and I go, what would I like? I don't know what I'd like. You want to know? You care? Wow. And it took me a while to get used to, what would you like? Can I have it? And so there was some time where I didn't really know what I wanted. But then when I was opening myself to the opportunity of well, maybe I could have it. Well, gosh, what would that look like? And there was a lot of resistance. There was a lot of, I shouldn't have it. I couldn't have it. Oh, it's too much. It's too this, and all these things. But then I got used to the fact that, well, if I'm not living for anybody else, could I live for myself? Well, that might, and there's lots of fears that, coming into new paradigms. But when you kick it around for a while, you go, well, here I am. I got time in this universe. I'm in this body. I'm in this life. Well, what am I going to do with it? Do I want to be unhappy or do I want to be happy? Is there any rule saying I have to be unhappy? No. I mean, honestly, when people leave a conversation, they're going back about their business, do they necessarily think about how they have to mastermind and judge you on yours? No. So if you have the right to happiness, then maybe you have the opportunity to start challenging what you're resisting and let go of those judgments from other people and start living your life and start living your dreams. And when you are awake and passionate, and you can't wait to get to work, you can't wait to solve the next problem. And for me, I love working with clients because I help them along the way to help them get through what they're stuck with. And I had a client last week where she had a lot of resistances and a lot of frustrations, and a lot of things were just not working. The universe was not cooperating. And I said, well, the universe always cooperates, so we have to figure out what you're telling the universe. And what are you putting out there? What are your belief systems, and what are your goals and challenges? And when we started to open it up and lay it out, and I ended up having to do some family constellation work on it as well, because there were other forces from long ago and far away that were just kind of damming everything up. And so when we offered a resolution to kind of this system, then things started to open up and just flow more smoothly. And all the pieces are already starting to play out in a much better way, which is incredible. And it is so inspiring. We stop ourselves so much that we've been doing it for so long that we don't even know it's us. And I'm here to offer that you are the perfect person to help you turn your life in the direction that you want. And when you start to do that, it's amazing. And it's amazing because there's less weight on your shoulders. There's more excitement. There's more looking towards what life could be. And when you're listening and thinking and imagining and creating, then more wonderful things come to you. So it's, the universe, it's it's like the law of attraction. It is the law of attraction. It is what you put out, you get back. So if you resist and you're in this state of circling the same mountain, then maybe you have to start looking, well, what's another mountain? What do I want to go towards? If all we're doing is running away from what we don't want, then we're not really going anywhere. We're kind of, it's like that string held to us by our bellies and someone else is holding us back and we're running and we're running and we're running. It's, what is it? Like Looney Tunes, all those cartoons, right? And you're running and you're treading water and you're just digging yourself in the ground. So it's that string, it's those attachments to the past of what we survived, we recreate. What we resist persists, right? All these phrases are very real. And when we are consumed by all of that, then we can't go forward. Not very well, right? We pull and then it snaps us back. So we need to start letting go of those things. And so how do we do that? As a recap, we start challenging what our existing paradigms are and if we need to have them anymore. And if are we going to still be safe and loved despite shifting what we need and what we want and what we're going towards. And when we start going towards those things and we're getting a little happier and becoming a little bit more confident in ourselves, then we can move forward even more. And then more of the universe will come towards you and go, awesome, you want that? Let's help you get it. That's how it works. I promise you. But if you're resisting and going, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here, what is your signal? Don't want to be here, don't want to be here, don't want to do this. Okay, and it will just keep giving you, it's this big mirror. You'll just keep reflecting back on what you don't want. So if you really are tired of living in that limbo and staying there and being there over and over and over again, at what point are you going to say, enough? It's not working anymore. Something inside me has to shift to then shift the rest of everything else. And it's very simple, very small movements. They have to be kind of small because if we shift too much, we kind of won't recognize ourselves and we have to kind of get used to a new normal. I don't want to say the new normal because that just reminds me of COVID and all that. But if you want a new normal, meaning if you want to resist less and be happier in your life, then you have to kind of challenge yourself and you have to be able to look at what's not working. What do I not want? But what can I want? What can I have? Can I have it? Will someone die if I get that? 99% of the time it's probably no, right? If I want a new job, okay, and I have a family, okay, great. I'm going to keep this existing job going and do the best I can, but start making plans to transition slowly to the new one. And it's not just the planning, that's the doing. We have to have the thinking and the feeling first in line before the doing kind of happens. If we're not okay in here and we're not okay here in our heart, the doing is never going to happen. It just never is. It's kind of physically impossible because if you are not passionate and you're not going, I want this, and not just I want it, please, may I have it? It's I need to create this experience and this belief system to make the steps to go forward to make the other things happen, right? If you're going to bake a cake, you don't say, please, may I have a cake? Please, may I have a cake? Okay? We go, what do I need? How am I going to do it? Well, okay, I need to go to the store, right? We make a list, we make a plan. But you have to want to make a cake. You want to say, I can have the cake. I deserve to have the cake. I just want the cake because I want the cake, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, right? And then you make the cake, right? You get out the ingredients, but the ingredients and all that stuff is not where we are. Where you're stuck is because we're resisting, we're spending all of our energy resisting where we are. And we're not doing enough of believing that we can and going towards what we want. I hope this is making sense. If you have questions, please ask me. Tell me what your experience is. I want to hear more from you. So I think I've kind of said all I have to say on this subject. I really want to thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Please like and share. Buy my book, Becoming Ridiculously Awesome. Who doesn't want that? It's on my journey of self-discovery. I went from Great Depression, really a lot of hardships and traumas, and I worked through my own stuff, found lots of beautiful pearls of wisdom along the way. And I got into actually having an enlightened experience where there is absolutely no resistance. There is just existing and witnessing and being a very beautiful place. And I want to share those experiences and those wisdoms with you. If you want a one-on-one session, if you're having hardships or frustrations and you want kind of to chat for kind of a free half-an-hour introductory session, I'm absolutely willing to do that. You can go on my website, livingyourawesome.com. If you have questions, comments, please do so. Connect with me on Instagram and Facebook and all of this lovely stuff. I hope you guys had a wonderful Memorial weekend. There's a lot of honoring and reverence that we had in our family, enjoying the weather, enjoying the safety of our family and peace. I wish you a wonderful week. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you very soon. Thank you again.